Alright, everybody, let's get into the review. So, of course, we pick up where we left off last time. That's what always happens with this show. David had just hit Veronica. She's shell shocked. She's like, "You really hit me. You really hit me." And RK jumped up, trying to, get David in line, but it really wasn't happening. So he kind of like stepped back just a little and, let Veronica and David go back and forth. So she was a combination of shell-shocked and furious. Because when she got up, she's like, "You and that hoe better watch out in my house." And David lets it out. He's like, "I bought the house. I bought the house for you after you burned down the other house." So he actually did buy the house for Veronica. And then when she went completely, way out and crazy, he just said, I guess he was just like, "Okay, I'm going to live in the house myself. This whole thing is over. I can't take anymore." And Veronica had been trying to provoke David into hitting her, and but I don't think she really thought he would do it. She just wanted to provoke him, but not actually have him do it. So David is furious. He's like, he just tells her, "You know what? Stay away from me, stay away from Jeffrey, and stay away from Erica." And so he leaves, and she just goes all kinds of crazy. She's singing, "You will regret it, you will regret it." Okay, so she's really off her rocker here. RK tries to say something to her. She's just not having it. She's like, "Get out, get out, get out." And so he just goes outside, and I think he just went outside in his underwear. And then she calls Derek and says she wants some numbers. So we'll get back to that or a little bit later. So David gets over to his apartment where Jeffrey has been staying, and he sees the place turned upside down. He's angry. He's like, "I can't take your mother anymore." And Jeffrey says, "It wasn't Mom. It was Officer Justin from the police station." So, and David has Jeffrey tagged correctly, and he's like, "Well, when did this happen? Was it before or after you had sex with him?" I'm like, okay, so, so Veronica had filled him in on that anyway, but David knows what was going on here. He knows that Jeffrey was, he knows Jeffrey well. He knows that Jeffrey just has no kind of sense and was going to accept this sort of behavior. So, but he still tells Jeffrey, this type of behavior is not okay. It's not okay. And Jeffrey's like, "I like him. I like Justin." David's trying to drive home to him, this behavior is not all right. You don't take this. And so Crazy shows up, Justin, and he's like, I'll pay for this." And David's like, "That couch cost $6,000. The painting cost $50,000. You pay? You gonna pay for that? Are you really gonna pay for that?" And Justin's all like, "I'll try." And Justin, right in that scene, he was trying to come off like he's really harmless. And David just said, "You mistreat my son like you did. It just makes me want to throw you off that balcony." And with that, David exited. And so Justin wants forgiveness for Jeffrey, and Jeffrey just wants him to leave. Yeah, you're forgiven. And then he pushes it more. "Tell me you love me." And Jeffrey's like, okay, I love you. Get out. And, instead of just cutting this off, Jeffrey is still trying to keep ties to Justin. I said, okay, he's dangerous. You need to stay. You just need to stay away from him. But yet you leave the door open because you want to get what you want. And you know, he's just wrong there. And so over at the DA's office, was it the precinct? I think it was precinct because there was the evidence room. Anyway, whatever. They have some footage of Wyatt and Jim leaving the bar, where Wyatt had stabbed Vinny Malone in the throat. You know, just and Benny is also on the video too, leaving. And that's who the DA, George, wants them to pick up. That's who they're going to pick up and all of that. That's who the police want to pick up. And as we'll see later in the episode, that's what happens. So, Sarah gets into the evidence room. She asks the attendant there, the police officer that attends it, you know, I need to get in there and compare some of my case to some of the evidence. And he wasn't supposed to let her back there, but he liked how she looked as he was looking like. And they said, damn, when he looked at her, and he kept looking at her and looking at her. So she got in there, and she stole the evidence like Jim wanted her to. Let me check my notes. Okay, so we get Hannah and Catherine now, and Hannah calls Catherine and asks her about the attorney, and she says, you know what, it'll all be good. He'll help you out. Marty will help you out. And Hannah, of course, everything with her is, I can't afford it. I'm not going to be able to afford this, man. And Catherine's like, you'll be fine. And so she gets off the phone with Catherine, and she goes to check her account. She's like, I got $35 in my account. Previously, Benny said that he had like $86 or something in the account. Now it's $35. I don't know. Well, anyway. So Hannah's looking at the screen like, what the? Because she sees like $8 million and a lot of change in the account. So, let's talk about Wyatt and Jeffrey now. This scene wasn't a really big deal. You know, Wyatt's still being paranoid. Oh, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. He wants Jeffrey to get out. Not much to that scene at all. So we get to Jim and Sarah again. She gets over there. She calls him and she says, okay, I got the evidence. I got it. That's not enough for him. He wants her to bring it. You need to bring it to me. You think I'm going to trust that? You need to bring it to me. I'm like, Jim, you're so tired. His whole shtick is just annoying at this point. So over at Veronica's house, Derek knocks on her door and she's like, there's a doorbell boy. And I'm like, there she goes, being racist again. Always being racist. So he brings her these numbers that she wanted, and he's like, you know, how much is enough? You know, you keep because she keeps wanting the favors, and she's like, you owe me. And he's like, how much is enough? You know, how long is this gonna go on? And she says, I can call your probation officer. And he's like, you know what I was in for. You know what I was in for. As much as to say, I'm capable of some bad stuff, so you need to leave me alone. And Veronica isn't fazed by it, but you know, for somebody that just got belted across the face, it seems like she'd be a little more cautious about, you know, messing with people. But this is Veronica. She's gotten into situations before, and she still is messing around with people. Alright, so back to Hannah's house, and Hannah's like, you know, my boss put all this money in my account. And Benny's like, wait. He's trying to say. So she calls Catherine up, and she's saying, you're crazy. How could you put all this money in my account? Catherine doesn't know what's going on, and she says, I have an idea, but I can't tell you. So she knows that something is up. Catherine knows that something is up, but she doesn't want to say it. And so, once Candace gets on the phone, and Benny's talking to her, and it just, and you know, it comes out that Candace put that money in there. Hannah's like, oh, I think she kind of like hit the chair or something, and she's like, oh no, 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 no. Candace keeps telling Benny, it's legit, it's legit, it's legit, and I'm like, no, it's not. You stole it. You stole some account numbers and you had it transferred into a bank account, and you transferred it. It's not legit money, Candace. Come on. Candace just, she's always saying what she does or how she gets money is legit, but that ain't legit, Candace. So, you know, Hannah, after Candace gets off the phone, Hannah is still flipping out. Just like, how could you, you know your sister, how could you go along with this? And then Benny just brought Melissa up out of context and has like, don't change the subject, do not change the subject. Because he's talking about what happened to that girl you let stay in here. And I'm like, Benny, stop, you got more troubles than Melissa. And Melissa's really not even a trouble, but you know, getting involved with the Malones and ended up arrested for attempted murder or whatever is a trouble. So, now let's talk about Charles and Landon now. How Charles was just so clueless about Landon just made no sense to me. I mean, Landon is has been trying to take off Charles's shoes. He's done it twice. He's tried to, you know, stay in his room and have drinks with him and all of that. And once Landon leaves the room, this other man, he tells Charles, you know, I've worked with you for years and da-da-da-da-da, all this. And he says, you need to be careful of Landon. He's smitten with you, and look how he caters to you. You know, and he's saying the staff is starting to notice. And Charles is like, oh, I don't even know if he's gay. I don't want to talk about this. I'm like, what do you have to see, or what does Landon have to do to let you know that he is, you know, that he is, as the guy put it, smitten with you? I mean, somebody's trying to take off your shoes. That's pretty bizarre if they are not smitten with you. So, Charles is clueless, and I don't know what Landon's going to do, but Landon's going to get him in some trouble. Okay, so now let's talk about Erica and Rocky. So, Erica had this test, and first I thought it was a pregnancy test, and I wasn't sure, but it had like a smiley face on it. And so she called Rocky, and he's in the hospital just trying to mend up from what Candace did to him. And Erica just says, well, I'm ovulating. And she's trying to get pregnant. And I'm like, she's trying to get she's trying to get a big meal ticket out of David, because she can see how he is about Jeffrey. So if he has another child, you know that he's going to step up to the plate and be there and everything. And, you know, so Erica is just very smart. And then she wants Rocky to apologize to Candace, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, she just needs that for this whole craziness and plan to work and whatever. So that was that. So Jim goes over to see David at Catherine's house, and he's all hyped up. He's like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. He's like, I had to pimp slap that. And Jim just thought it was so hilarious. And David's all, well, I feel terrible. I feel bad. And Jim's like, you feel bad about hitting somebody that tried to burn you up in your own damn house? And I'll say this, David shouldn't have hit Veronica. But you know, I don't know exactly. I don't know why he feels bad for her per se, because she did try to burn him up. But I guess I can understand him feeling bad because he shouldn't have hit a woman. I can understand that part of it, but you know, anyway. So, and David, he just had to detail it. He's like, she flew across the room. I'm like, David, you're doing too much. Did you really have to detail it? And then they get into talking about Erica, and Jim is like, you really like her, but what do you know about her? And what David doesn't know about her is some pretty big information, and maybe this is an indicator that Erica's secrets are going to come out. Okay. So Sarah comes over with the bullets, and she gives him the bullets, and he's trying to say, come upstairs, I want to show you something. I'm like, come on. And Sarah finally just said, we're not doing this. We are done. We are done. And she left. She left it. I'm like, at least you stood your ground for once, Sarah. Although you've stood it, you've actually done something illegal, and then you decide to stand your ground. But whatever. So Candace comes over to Hannah's house, and she's just going to trust blank Hannah, like Hannah's not even there, and it's Hannah's house. And Candace is like, okay, well, I'm blackmailing somebody. So she let on that the money's not legit, but she's lying about why the money is not legit. She didn't blackmail anybody. She stole the money. And Hannah thinks she's blackmailing Charles. She says she's blackmailing that man running for president. And Candace is like, I'm talking to Benny. And Hannah's like, you're in my house. You're in my house. And Candace is all like, is it? And Benny's like, you know, he's not really feeling it until Candace offers him $1 million. He's like, $1 million? $1 million. She's like, yeah, for the tow yard and the house and all of that. And he's really considering it. And Hannah's like, no, that is death money. And she brings out little Quincy's photo and puts it in Candace's face, and Candace doesn't want to look at it. Understandable. But you know, and that's not deterring Candace, but what does deter Candace is the fact that on a joint account you need 2 signatures to get the to get anything out. So or make to get the money out and to transfer all of that. And without Hannah's signature, that money's not going anywhere. Hannah wants to turn it over to the FBI. But then the police knock on the door. Police! And Benny's like, when the kid opens that door and they say they're looking for Benjamin, Benny's like, and I thought he was going to take off running, but he didn't. And now Benny's getting ready to be taken away. So, it's a huge mess that Benny is in now. So, that was the episode. Probably the best scene for me, I would say, would be, probably was, it was just funny to me how clueless Charles was. He's like, what? Is he really gay? Does he really like me? And I'm like, oh, Charles. That was just a funny scene to me. But anyway, that was the episode. Like and subscribe and leave a comment below if you feel like that's what you want to do. And I will see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.